it is the beginning of September, so I'm going to film my August wrap-up. This was not the best reading month for me ever, but it was still pretty good. So I ended up reading 7 books for a total of 2,539 pages, which I think is still pretty good considering I got into a little bit of a reading slump. But yeah, it was pretty good. So I'm going to go through all of the books I read. The very first one I finished in August was Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely loved this book. It is a lot about like performative allyship by white people, especially involving everything going on in 2020 right now. I think this is an amazing read. I think it goes through a lot of important topics and a lot of things that white people in particular should be aware of. This follows a girl named Amira who is a babysitter for a very well-off white family, and she is with the young girl that she babysits at the grocery store late at night when the family has an emergency. And when she is there, she gets stopped by security guards who think that she kidnapped the child because she is black with a small white child at a grocery store late at night. And from there, the mother of the child she babysits kind of becomes obsessed with her. She wanted really nothing to do with her, didn't really care to get to know her before this incident, but she kind of wants to like prove to Amira that she is like a good white person and she's not racist, and she kind of wants Amira to think that she understands her. And it's just really eye-opening for a lot of the way that white people act when they think they're doing something good or they think they're acting in a way that's going to be helpful. Okay, my cats are fighting behind the camera. Say hi, Apples. Hi. You're so cute. And yeah, this was just a really great book. I highly recommend this one, and I think you should want to own it anyway because of this incredible cover. It also kind of deals with her white boyfriend who kind of seems to like fetishize black people but think that he is not. It's just super interesting, and her boyfriend was super cringy, and it was such a great read. Highly recommend. 5 out of 5 stars. Great way to kick off August. So I usually find myself listening to a lot of random audiobooks because I'll be at work and I will be working on something like super tedious that I can pop on an audiobook for, and I don't have anything in mind or I don't want to spend like a ton of time looking. So that's why the next book is kind of random, but I listened to Bad with Money by Gabby Dunn. I really enjoy Gabby's podcast, well, both of them, but primarily the one with Allison Raskin called Just Between Us. And she also has a podcast called Bad with Money, and she wrote a book that's kind of going off a lot of the things that she talks about in her podcast. And I thought this was interesting. A lot of the information was very like American, which makes sense. She does live in America, so I'm not going to fault her for that. But I live in Canada, and a lot of it was not relevant to me at all, and it was targeted towards a much younger audience. I think it was a lot about like going off to university and saving money in high school, and a lot of like financial terms that I'm not familiar with because we don't really have those in Canada, or they're called something else, or we do something different. My cats are being so loud. Yeah, so I gave this 3.5 stars because I did think it was interesting, and I did enjoy listening to it. I think I listened to it in like 1 or 2 days. It was super quick, but like I said, like a lot of it just didn't really apply to me. But yeah, if you have any recommendations for like books about like finances and managing your finances and things like that, let me know because I'm very interested in that topic, and I would like to read more that would maybe be more relevant to me. The next book I finished in August is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston, which I absolutely loved. This was by far my favorite book of the month. 5 out of 5 stars, of course. I'm sure you've heard literally like everyone and their mother talk about this already, but it is such a good romance. Like, she knows how to write romance. This was so good. It is a romance between the Prince of England and the son of the first female president of the United States, and it's kind of hate to love, and it was so good, so cute. Like, oh, I was listening to this audiobook and I didn't own it, and like I had to stop and go buy the book and read it physically because it was just that good. Like, I could read this over and over again and never be tired of it. Amazing. 5 out of 5 stars. Then I listened to another audiobook, and this one was The Short Second Life of Bree Tanner by Stephanie Meyer. This is the novella that takes place during eclipse from the point of view of Bree Tanner, which is one of the newborns created by like Riley and Victoria. This was really good. I think this little novella is better than all 4 of the Twilight books. I would love so much more about Bree Tanner, although obviously that's not possible if you've read the books, but this was great. I don't have a ton to say because, you know, it's Twilight, but what do you want me to say? I also already talked about this in my vlog where I read Midnight Sun, so if you want to hear more, you can go check it out there. But I ended up giving this 3 stars, which is higher than I gave most of the Twilight books, so that says something. Oh, the next book I read was Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo, which I listened to the audiobook for, and it made me sob. This was so freaking good. Like, so good. This talks a lot about grief and about family. It is about 2 sisters who don't know of each other until their father dies in a plane crash, and it's about them coming together and kind of just learning about family and what it means to be a family, and it was just so beautiful. It's written in verse, and Elizabeth Acevedo narrates her own audiobooks, which I love. I really do want to reread this one physically just because I loved it that much, but I gave this 4.5 out of 5 stars and highly recommend that one. Just like all of her audiobooks I believe are on Scribd, so just pop one on when you're feeling it, and it was so amazing. Then I read My Sister the Serial Killer by Oyukon Braithwaite. I buddy read this with my friend Paige from Pages with Paige, who I can't stop talking about, and this was amazing. This was so frustrating. She called this like blue balls as a novel because that's truly how you feel when reading this. Like, you are so frustrated and the ending just leaves you hanging, and everything that you want to happen just doesn't happen this whole time. This is about a girl whose sister keeps accidentally killing her boyfriends, and then she goes and cleans up her messes, and it was just so good. This was another book that was about like family as well, and what you should and shouldn't do for your family, and I highly recommend this one. It was so good. I think I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. You're gonna be so frustrated while you read this book, but in such a good way. And the last book that I completed in August was another Elizabeth Acevedo one, and this one was The Poet X, once again on audiobook. And this one was really good too. I really love the author's narration style. I think it's wonderful. This one was also written in verse, but it made me really upset the way that the main character was treated, which I think was the point. I ended up giving this one 3.5 stars. I didn't like it quite as much as Clap When You Land, mainly because I felt like things kind of resolved too easily in the ending, and they seemed like they were like tied up too nicely with a little bow. Like, everything was kind of like crap, and then suddenly it was all like fine, and I didn't really like that, but you can definitely tell that Elizabeth Acevedo's writing has improved over time, and I still really enjoyed the story. I thought it was beautiful and very important, and I loved it. The last thing I read in August, which was a big reason why I didn't finish more, is I started Midnight Sun and I made it 300 pages in before the month ended. This is a chunker, and it is so slow to get through because Edward is so whiny and so irritating. I mean, what else did I expect, honestly, from this? But I still definitely want to finish it. It's really funny. I'm loving like the connections she's trying to make. Like, it's not a good book, but it's like a fun time to read, you know? Like, that kind of sums up all of the Twilight books. Yeah, so I'll continue this. I don't know if I'll get to it in September because I'm doing Not Safe for Workathon and Becca's Bookopoly, and the Bookopoly board was not nice to me, so I've got a giant stack of books and a lot to do in September, so we will see what I end up getting to. But that is everything that I completed and read in August. I think I enjoyed like every single thing I read, so it was a very good reading month. Hopefully September's wrap up is a little bit bigger, but we will definitely see. Let me know down below what you read in August and what your favorite book of the month was, and I will talk to you later. Bye!